put some trust in the universe. We can think so often about doing everything we can to the utmost expectation, to the finite point that we have as much control as possible. In reality, a lot of what happens in our lives comes up to fate. It comes up to what someone else might think of us, what an opportunity and how an opportunity can fit for us. And sometimes, and most times rather, we don't even see that because we're so focused on doing everything we can to get to where we want to be, or to get into the position to where we can be. Try trusting the universe a little bit more. I hope I don't sneeze right now. I probably will. You know, as these weeks have gone by, as I've been able to live life, I've had a lot change for me. My situation has changed. My opportunities have changed. Life as I know it looks a little bit different right now than how it looked a year ago and 2 years ago, if we want to go even further, 3 years ago. And each year life can look different in that way. It can be the same, or it can be a completely different look, a completely different place, a completely different scenario. I've mentioned a few times the last 2 years, better part of the last 2 years, I've lived in Kansas. I'm from New York originally, in the Northeast. And I've lived in Kansas for the better part of the last 2 years, and now all of a sudden it's May, and I'm still in New York, and I'm not sure how to be. I'm not sure how life is supposed to be at times. I've gotten accommodated by now, yes, don't get me wrong. For a while, it kept me a little... And at first, when I knew this would be happening, I didn't really know how to think. Because with life, and with our lives, and with life in general, we can have this structure, and we can become so accustomed to the structure, that in the future, when that structure is taken out of our life, when it's tossed to the wayside, and we don't have structure, we don't know what to do, necessarily. And that's not just something for one person, that's something for everyone at any age. You know, if you're going high school to college, that's a change in structure. College to postgraduate life, that's a change in structure. When you go from working your entire life, for the most part, for most of your life, and you retire, that's a change in structure. What I've learned in this recent stretch for me, where it's been a change of structure, is that yes, I have put some structure in place for myself, but I've also come to learn and come to know that I can put so much into this structure and something can go wrong and I can get really mad at myself, or I can put in what I need to and let the universe decide whether it's for me or not. I feel like for me, this really came through with applying for jobs, because I'm so focused on trying to make this good impression, so focused on trying to get this interview and come off in the best possible way, that more or less I've kind of been hurting my chances at one time or another, because I've been so focused and so lasered in on getting this to work. Yes, applying for jobs is a process, one that we will have to do many, many times, depending on how things work for our lives, especially in this modern day. I'm not saying that exclusivity isn't a thing in the job market, but over times, especially for those working up through the ranks, it can be hard to come by. You're going from place to place. I think if we don't look at it through that lens and we take a step back and understand, and what I'm trying to get to is that the universe can give us our payoffs, unexpected payoffs, unknown payoffs. It can be a payoff that's ahead of the curve of the payoff that is going to later be posted to a wider audience of people. The universe can give you great things. I'm not saying they don't come when you're micromanaging a lot of your life and you're trying to get everything down to a certain science and down to a structure that you can live by day in and day out. The more that I've lived these last few weeks, and especially with the collegiate sports season ending, I've been able to have a lot of free time. I've been able to freelance and actually work some games for a local team as a press box worker. Not exactly on the air, but helping out with running a pitch clock and stringing, which for baseball games, that's a big deal. I've been able to do that. It's been different. It's been fun. And I know this lack of structure can come in some degree to a form of privilege. I'm living with my parents. If I had my own apartment, I know I would be doing some other form of employment. Since the games have begun to wind down for me, at least the college games, because, you know, everyone's graduating now. I spent the better part of these last few days texting a bunch of people, congratulations on graduating from college, graduating from university. Having all of this time now and leaving most of it rather up to the universe has been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun. This comes from someone who likes to do as much as he can and can sometimes go too deep down that path. But I've honestly loved letting the universe decide what to do. You know, this past weekend, I had a Sunday where I mostly just relaxed in the morning. I was busy for a game on Saturday. Sunday, I kind of scrolled on my phone a little bit. I'm trying to get better with screen time. I have the black and white function working a little bit now. And I've been getting a little bit better with that. And what I did Sunday was I woke up kind of relaxed. Lazy Sundays are the best. I went food shopping with my mom. The rest of my day was spent playing wiffle ball at a park with my friends, and then at another friend's house where I was at a barbecue. We had hot dogs, we had ribs, we had Cheeto Puffs. I had a fair amount of them, and I hadn't had Cheeto Puffs in a while. My stomach with the oils of the Cheetos and the hot dogs actually was scaring me. I didn't know if I was going to be sick. I was not, thankfully. But that was how my Sunday was. Also, I did laundry, but that was all I did in a day. I wasn't forcing myself technically to be set in a strict time. I know the place and I knew the time I had to get there for wiffle ball. Got there a little bit later, joined the game. Eventually it was really funny. Like, I, along with some of my other friends, we were just playing wiffle ball shirtless in a park. Yes, we're in our early 20s, but we were honestly like we were in high school again. And I got home, and actually my Instagram reel for that day was talking about that and how that was the most fun that I've had in recent memory, just from doing that. I will remember a lot from that day. Eventually ended up going to a friend's house. He had the grill going. He cooked ribs, hot dogs. Eventually we had a fire that night after the sun set. We had what I would describe as the most sober stoner conversation ever. We were talking a lot about space, about the sky, and I kind of joked when I said this, but I said that this conversation makes me want to live. Now, does that come for me, and does that come into my life if I'm so focused on having hour per hour schedules of where I need to be, what I need to be doing? I'm not saying it doesn't, but when you're just there and letting life play out, a lot changes. A lot of cool stuff can happen. Indirectly. Maybe directly from you because you're there and you're doing something. I'm under the impression, and what I want to get off my chest, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you should be completely undisciplined. I'm not saying that you should just lay around all day. I'm saying you should fill your time with activities. Important activities. I think for you personally, I don't remember the entire acronym off the top of my head, but as for you, for yourself, you can control your demeanor and you can control your effort. Those are two main things that you can do. You can control how you look, what you're doing with everything. You can control your effort when you're participating. But a lot of it can just be thrown up to the universe and let the higher power, whether it be God, whether it be some force, let that play out for you. And even when you're putting in effort, a lot of what you can get back is not up to your decision. Again, the past few weeks I've been trying to get better with just having conversations with people, texting them and whatnot, getting over a bit of a hump where I'm like, oh, I want to have a conversation, but I don't know what to say. Well, just have a conversation. It's pretty easy. You could be texting someone. Maybe you're trying to ask someone out. You could have a good conversation. Eventually, you could pop that question. It's not up to you whether or not it works or not. It's the universe. It's theirs, obviously. They can make the decision, and they have every right to say no. But from your perspective, that's the universe. It's the universe confirming or denying you for right now. And when you think of that as well, you're going to get denied time and time again, not just from a personal standpoint, from a job search standpoint. You're going to be told no a lot of times. In some cases, those no's and those no's from the universe that are coming in can help guide you to the right place, to the right yes, to the right situation that you need to be in. That's where a lot of us, I feel, don't see that because we're so focused on our effort and our input, and we should be. But there's a universal energy, and there's a factor with that energy that can change what happens to us. I haven't done too much talk about manifestation. I understand that just by saying that buzzword, some people might look at me a little funny, and some people might roll their eyes. Some people might even click off this video. I don't know. Very recently, for the better part of the last 2 weeks, I've been trying a method of that. I'm not paying a guru. I'm doing this on my own from the general internet resource of what to do. You can search this up as well. I've been trying the 5x55 method. And what it is, I'll give a brief understanding, and this is not sponsored by anything, mind you. This is just what I've been doing. You have a sentence. a mantra, whatever you want to call it. You can search up and find hundreds of different ones. And you write it out 55 times in a row. And you do that for 5 straight days. And with the process of doing that, you're training and reconfiguring your subconscious mind into holding that belief. A key thing also when you're doing this is that you need to be thinking and be focused not only just on writing them down, but envisioning where you are and what you want to be and where you want to be with this mantra playing out in your head. I'll be honest, my first one was I'm deserving of love. I've talked a little bit time and time again about how that's kind of been a bit of a patchy road for me. Haven't necessarily been in a relationship, haven't been able to touch a lot of things that a lot of people touch. But that was my first 5 days. And I don't do it every day. I do it for 5 days, and usually I let the weekend, I'll stop, I'll take a day off Saturday. Sunday, I'll choose what I want to do for the next week, but then for the next 5 days, I write it down. You know, very recently, my current one is I'm on the right path. Think about that for a second. Think about feeling and embodying that wherever you are in life, because you are at some point, and you are somewhere in your life right now. Whether you like it or not, you are somewhere in life. Think about that statement. I am on the right path. Everything is working out for me. I am here for a reason. I might not like where I am, but I'm letting it happen. Think about trusting that. Think about, with that sentence in mind, leaving it up to the universe. Leaving it up to the fact that you've come across many people and that sometimes those people can really, really help you out in one way or another. It can be stuff behind the scenes that you have no clue of. And you can have a simple referral. You can have a connection. You can have someone speak highly of you to someone else. And what that can bring. Think about that. And I think that's what it's all about. We can control our input, and we can control a lot about our lives. We could put so much effort into life. I think the other aspect of leaving it up to the universe, it's lost. It's a lost art by some people. I don't know whether the 5x55 methods, I'm on my third one right now. I don't know if it's a placebo effect. I've done this again for the better part of 2 weeks. Technically, this is getting, by the end of this third time, I will have done writing out 55 times whatever sentence I've done for more than 2 weeks, because I, again, have the weekends off. I've found, whether it's a placebo or not, I feel a lot calmer about life. I don't find myself getting up in arms about certain situations. And yes, don't worry, I still do for these situations. It's not completely perfect, and it never will be perfect. Perfection's impossible. I found that I've let life take over and let life embody that. And that's one of the things when you're doing this. Think about how you're embodying that message. I think I've embodied that. Whether or not I've seen specific results, whether or not I feel a lot calmer about life, I feel a lot easy about life, it might be working after all. So, I don't know if you want to try it today, tomorrow, the next week, the next month, next 6 months, next year, and for the rest of your life. But I would look at some point into leaving a lot of anxieties, stresses, and worries and giving it up to the universe, whether it be to God, again, a higher power, or the universe in general, because we are in a universe that's very unique, and we are very unique, every single one of us as human beings. Try not only continuing your focused path of life, but by letting go for certain things. Try that for a change. Report back. See how life is going for you and tell others how their life could be. Bonus content. It is actually too hot now. I've been talking about the weather. It is too hot. I have sweat like 3 times. I think my scalp is actually like burning because it's been a lot. I got sunburn on the back of my neck. When I went to play wiffle ball with my friends, I got a big red old blotch on the back of my neck because I didn't put sunscreen on. I didn't think I was gonna need sunscreen. I didn't think that far, actually. But yeah, life, when you combine putting in the effort and letting the universe work for you, can be really fun. I hope you try it again, and I hope that as much of a fun time and as much of the total amount of fun times that I've had recently, you can have them as much, if not more, by letting some of your control up to the universe. Bye now.